Jeremy Vine reveals his wife's fears for his safety after he was wrongly named in BBC sex pics scandal, but faces industry backlash for putting pressure on troubled presenter to go public after saying he is worried about his state of mind.
Jeremy Vine today revealed how his wife begged him to wear a disguise in public after he was wrongly named in the BBC sex pictures scandal, as a civil war erupted over the corporation's handling of the crisis. The radio and TV host, 58, spoke of how wife Rachel has feared for his safety, giving him a baseball cap and telling him you better wear this when he went to a Bruce Springsteen concert at the weekend. It came at a time where he was being smeared by Twitter trolls making baseless claims that he was the BBC star who The Sun claims paid a teenager £35,000 for sexually explicit images. Vine today reiterated his call for the presenter, who has not been named but is described as being known by millions, to come forward and reveal his identity, but he faced a backlash from rival broadcaster Susanna Reid on Good Morning Britain. She told viewers, "Now we have a very high-profile presenter, Jeremy Vine, putting pressure on the unnamed presenter to come forward, which I think is a strange move for another presenter." It comes as the differing views on the BBC's handling of the scandal from inside the broadcaster were also laid bare today. John Sopel, who worked at the corporation for nearly 40 years before moving to Global last year, told the News Agents podcast, "A number of people have been in touch with the presenter to say they feel righteous fury over the way The Sun has covered this. It is fair to say that the presenter at the heart of this is also extremely angry over a lot of The Sun coverage and is convinced they're trying to dig and find new dirt to harm this particular person's reputation." Meanwhile, one senior BBC insider described the mood inside New Broadcasting House as increasingly fraught. He told The Times, "Everyone feels a bit blindsided. People are deeply frustrated that the BBC has become the story." Director General Tim Davie comments today helped to clear up some of the questions, but he still hasn't answered everything. The reaction came as Vine said of the unnamed presenter, "It's his decision, but he needs to come forward now, I think. I know his survival instinct has kicked in and I know he saw what happened to Philip Schofield, but my God, look at the damage to the BBC, look at the damage to his friends, to those falsely accused. And the longer he leaves it the worse it will be for him." Vine said he thought very carefully before posting a tweet on Tuesday night urging the unnamed presenter to reveal himself, adding, "I know the individual concerned. I am very worried about his state of mind and what this is doing to him. I haven't spoken to him, but I gather from somebody who has that he is described as angry and keen to play it long. Now to me that means that he wants to be anonymous for as long as possible, hoping that he can one day walk back into the building." Vine said the unnamed BBC presenter will have to answer the allegations against him, suggesting the man will not be able to remain anonymous forever while continuing to work for the broadcaster. He added, "What's happening is all this stuff is aggregating with no response. Now, he must have a defense, he must have one. Maybe he's going to say it's all a misunderstanding? Well, I assume it." The 58-year-old, who said he has not spoken with the presenter, also said, "I had a situation. I was going to see Bruce Springsteen at the weekend and my wife said, 'Are you going to be safe there? That's how serious this thing is,' and she gave me a baseball cap and said, 'You better wear this.'" However, fellow broadcaster Richard Bacon was critical, as he tweeted, "Stop it. You're more emotionally intelligent than this. We don't know the complexities of what his family are going through. Or what dark thoughts are running through his head. Irrespective of what he's done wrong. You can walk off people wrongly guessing it's you for 5 minutes." In a follow-up tweet today, Bacon added, "I agree, Jeremy Vine is calling for the presenter to come forward for the good of Jeremy Vine." Meanwhile, Vine also defended the BBC, saying the corporation has behaved with extraordinary decency and he understands that if it sacks the presenter, it may not be able to name him. On whether the person thinks they are above being held to account for their alleged actions, Vine said, "It may be more complicated than that. They may be in some sort of terrible crisis, unable to judge what's right and what's wrong anymore. I don't know." On the Sun's front page on Wednesday, the newspaper reported a 23-year-old person has claimed the BBC presenter broke lockdown rules to meet them during the pandemic in February 2021. The paper also reported an additional claim from another person saying the presenter started a chat with a teen follower from his Instagram account, using love hearts and kisses in his messages. According to The Sun, the individual was 17 when the presenter contacted them out of the blue. Separately, BBC News reported on Tuesday that a person in their early 20s has alleged that they were sent threatening messages by the unnamed man. BBC News said it had contacted the presenter via his lawyer, but had received no response to the allegations. On July 9, the BBC issued an update to staff and the media and confirmed it had suspended the unnamed presenter following the first allegation printed in The Sun, which said the presenter had paid a teenager tens of thousands of pounds for sexually explicit images. But the young person at the center of the controversy later said via lawyers, in a letter to the BBC, that nothing inappropriate or unlawful happened with the unnamed presenter. BBC News said it does not know the identity of the young person and has not spoken to them directly, but that the letter was sent by a multinational law firm. Their mother told The Sun they stand by the claims, and a spokesperson for The Sun said it is now for the BBC to properly investigate. On Tuesday, the corporation's Director General Tim Davie said he has ordered a review to assess how some complaints are red flagged up the organisation as the BBC's annual report was unveiled. He said the BBC is dealing with a complex and difficult situation after the serious allegations. The corporation has been asked to pause its internal investigation into the allegations while the police scope future work following a meeting with the Metropolitan Police. A spokesperson for the force said it continues to make an assessment to establish whether there is evidence of a criminal offense being committed, and there remains no police investigation at this time. A statement from the BBC on Tuesday said, "The events of recent days have shown how complex and challenging these kinds of cases can be and how vital it is that they are handled with the utmost diligence and care. There will, of course, be lessons to be learned following this exercise."
BBC reveals its timeline for how the Sex Pictures scandal unfolded May 18. The complainant, a family member, attended a BBC building, where they sought to make a complaint about the behavior of a BBC presenter. May 19. The complainant contacted BBC Audience Services. The details of this contact were referred to the BBC's Corporate Investigations Team. The BBC's Corporate Investigations Team assessed the information contained in the complaint provided from Audience Services. The assessment made was that on the basis of the information provided, it did not include an allegation of criminality, but nonetheless merited further investigation. The BBC's Corporate Investigations Team emailed the complainant stating how seriously the BBC takes the issue and seeking additional information to verify the claims being made. There was no response to this contact. Checks were also made to verify the identity of the complainant. This is a standard procedure to confirm that the complainant is the person they say they are. June 6. Having received no response to the email referenced above, a phone call was made to the mobile number provided by the complainant to the BBC's Corporate Investigations Team. This call did not connect. Following these attempts to make contact with the complainant, the Corporate Investigations Team were due to return to the matter in the coming weeks. No additional attempts to contact the complainant were made after June 6, however the case remained open throughout. July 6. The Sun newspaper informed the BBC via the corporate press office of allegations concerning a BBC presenter. It became clear that the source of the claims was from the same family as approached the BBC on 18 and 19 May. This was the first time that the Director General or any executive directors at the BBC were aware of the case. The claims made by The Sun contain new allegations that were different to the matters being considered by BBC corporate investigations. The BBC initiated an incident management group to lead the response to this case, involving senior BBC executives including the Director General. The acting chairman was updated, and the board was regularly updated in the coming days. A senior manager held the first conversation on this matter with the presenter concerned, to make him aware of the claims being outlined by The Sunday. It was agreed that the presenter would not be on air while this matter was being considered. July 7. Following The Sun's contact, the BBC's corporate investigations team contacted the complainant again, who was in touch with the BBC's investigators. The BBC's Serious Case Management Framework, SCMF, was initiated and the investigation being undertaken by the corporate investigations team was brought into the SCMF, which is chaired by a human resources director. The BBC also made contact with the police with regard to this matter. July 8. The complainant sent the BBC some materials related to the complaint. July 9. BBC issued an update to staff and the media and also confirmed that it had suspended the presenter. July 10. The BBC met with the police to report the matter and discuss how to progress the investigation. The police have requested that the BBC pause its investigations into the allegations while they scope future work. July 11. Tim Davie insists he still hasn't met with the star in question and defended the fact it took bosses 7 weeks after complaint to first question him. A bombshell second claim emerged when the same presenter was accused of sending abusive and menacing messages to a person in their 20s. Just hours later, the star was then branded a complete hypocrite for allegedly breaking COVID rules to meet a 23-year-old stranger from a dating site. Fresh then claims emerged from a fourth young person who says the star sent them creepy Instagram messages including heart emojis and kisses when they were 17.